Good afternoon, swim fans, and welcome again to the Blanchard Aquatic Center on the campus of Century Middle School here in Lakeville, Minnesota. This afternoon's meet is the infamous Lakeville Relays, featuring teams from Lakeville South, Northfield, Rochester Century, Rochester Mayo, and Lakeville North. The teams are gathering on the pool. They've been doing some quick cheers after their warm-ups, and they will be ready to start here at 1 o'clock. I'd like to welcome our guests from Rochester that have traveled up the highway to see this brand new facility, and welcome those. Hopefully they were able to catch the live stream link. We've had two meets so far in this pool. The North-South meet went well, and then on Thursday we had the Lakeville South versus Rosemount meet. For Lakeville North, the coaches are Dan Schneider, Katie Radiant, Rick Kruger, Steve Van Dyne, and Summer Perrick. Captains, Olivia Broback, Ginter Piscicati, Peyton Warrens, and Leah Loftus. For Lakeville South, coaches are Madison McBride and Tim Mitchell. With it, coaches Eric Knudsen and Derek Moulton as well. Captains, Kamala Flodamesh, Ava White, Amelia Shelgren, Julie Holt, and Izzy McGill. For Northfield, coaches are Brian Porter and Christy Cordum. Captains, Molly Bratler, Maddie Moser, and Riley Blandon. For Rochester Century, the coaches are Dale and Megan Magnuson, Jocelyn Martin, Anna Lee, Brett Maroney. Captains, Emily Garrison, Katie Holme, Paige Patton, and Madeline Bowie. And for Rochester Mayo, coaches are Juliet Parlett, Scott Derricks, Jessica Knupp, and Greg Andrews. Captains are Natalie Bourgeon, Sarah Salmon, Avery Walls, Chloe Wingarden, and Abby Wingle. Once again, the meet will start at approximately 1 o'clock. So sit back and grab your favorite beverage, find your lazy boy chair, and kick back and relax. They're announcing the teams at this point. And with that, we're off. Then first up will be event number 5, the girls 200 medley relay junior varsity. Heat 1 of 2 will feature number 3 will be Lakeville North's Decatur, Anderson, Paquette, and Owens for Lakeville South in lane number 4. For South will be Schoenthaler, Gwynn, Fan, and McGill. And lane number 5 for North, Carlson, Springer, Anderson, and Skvetland. As you'll notice as the broadcasts go on, some of these events will be fairly unique to the relay meet format. Some will be pretty straightforward. This first one, the medley relay, is the traditional start of the meet. And they're off. Lane 4, Gina Schoenthaler with a great start, giving the Lakeville North girls a good lead to start off the meet. Excuse me, the Lakeville South girls. A little tight on the turn, but still looking good. Also in the water for North in lane number 3, that is Autumn Doxator. And for North, Caitlin Carlson in lane number 5. Next up for South, that'll be Truck Win, swimming breaststroke. And lane 5 for North, that'll be Ella Springer. And coming up next in lane number 3, that is Hazel Anderson for North. In the pool next, swimming butterfly in lane number 4. That'll be Casey Fan for the Cougars. And in lane 5 for the Panthers, that'll be Justine Anderson. And lane 3, Cassandra Paquette. Once again, this is heat 1 of 2 of the girls' junior varsity 200 medley relay. Swimming the anchor length for Lakeville South will be Isabella McGill. Up next, lane number 5, that is McKenna Svecklin. And in lane 3 for North, that'll be Sarah Owens. But it's going to be Lakeville South taking this opening heat. Looking pretty strong with their JV team. For North and South, they have both entered 3 relays apiece. Look for the visitors. We've got just one heat, one event. They will be featured in this heat number 2. Heat number 2. Lane number 2 will be South, Eastling, Lansbach, Cowley, and Butler. And 3 for Mayo. Carlson, Raucher, Weingarten, and Seelig. 4 for Century, Homey, Magnuson, Thomas, and Dow. 5 for Northfield, Holleran, Bowers, Edney, and Morrell. And 6 for South, King, Trin, Johnson, and Trin. In lane 7 for North, Dahl, Gomez, Lampet, and Kruk. Once again, this is heat number 2 of 2 of the JV 200 medley relay. A little bit of a delay as we start this next heat. Not exactly sure what's going on, but one of the benefits of a new pool is a new timing system and new scoreboard and everything. So a little bit of a learning curve. Sounds like they're ready to get this second heat started. Once again, we have South in 2, Mayo in 3, Century in 4, Northfield in 5, South in 6, and North in 7. Off to a fast lead this JV heat. That is Natalie Homey for Century in lane number 4. Following closely in lane number 5 by Northfield's Ella Holleran. Next up for Century, in lane number 4, that is be Paige Magnuson. And in lane number 5 for Northfield, May Bowers. In 3, that is Zika Rauer. And in 6, Carly Trin. Rounding it out in lane number 2, that is Lillian Lonsbach for South. And Sophia Gomez in lane number 7 for North. Century is pulling ahead in this JV heat. Lane number 4 next up will be Erica Thomas. Next up in lane number 5, that is Northfield's Leah Edney. And lane 3 for Mayo, that is Chloe Weingarten. Lane 6, Taylor Johnson. And lane number 7, Miranda Lampett. And lane number 2, that is Sophia Cowley. With the anchor leg for the freestyle for Century, that is Katie Dow. And lane number 5 for Northfield, Seva Morrow. And in 3 for Mayo, that is Emma Seelig. Next in the pool, lane number 6, Lacey Trin. In 7, that is Lauren Croak. And in lane number 2, that'll be Hannah Butler. But it is Rochester Century with the comfortable win. Next up will be event number 6, the girls 200 medley relay varsity. Each team has 1 entry in this event. Lane number 2 will be Mayo, Weingarten, Lee, Yao, and Salmon. 3, Northfield, Hawk, Cordum, and Hegland. And lane number 4 for Century, Garrison, Blixt, Patton, and Homey. And 5 for North, Warrens, Loftus, Hultgren, and Marsalek. In lane 6 for South, Gross, Wiltier, Wilkinson, and Bean. As this is still a relatively new pool, the pool records are fairly new. So we'll have to keep an eye out to see how this heat goes. And they're off a pretty even start across the board. Almost dead even between North and Century with Peyton Warrens and Emily Garrison. Emily with a great turn. Open up a slight lead. Next up in lane number 4, that'll be Sophia Blixt. And lane 5, Ford North, that'll be Leah Loftus. Pretty even across the pool for the rest of them. Lane 2, that's Gabriel Lee. Lane 3, Greta Kortberg. And lane 6, Megan Weltier. Good opening 25 for Sophia Blix for Century, opening up about a half body length lead on Lakeville North's Leah Loftus. Leah's still battling tough. Next up in lane number 4 for Century, that will be Paige Patton. And Leah will be handing off to a McKenna Hultgren. For the rest of the field in 2, that is Julian Yao. In 3, Nora Corton. And 5, McKenna Hultgren. Lane 6, Lily Wilkinson. The strong lead still for Rochester Century. Final leg for lane 4, that'll be Sarah Homey. In lane 5, Addie Marsalek. In lane 3, Maria Heaven for Northfield. And in 2 for Mayo, that is Sarah Salmon. And in 6, Bree Bean for Lakeville South. But it is Rochester Century is going to take this varsity 200 medley relay. 154-18. Next up is event number 7, the girls 3x200 yard freestyle relay junior varsity. Each swimmer will swim 8 lanes to the pool. Lane number 2 from Mayo, that'll be Tribeco, Abodiah, Salmon. And lane 3 for Northfield, Moser, Edwards, and Smith. 4 for North, McFarland, Walker, Kozabud. 5 for Century, Richard, Kelsring, Harms. And 6 for South, Gross, Parent, Shelgren. And 7 for North, Jeserek, Salander, and Dunbar. With a strong opening 50 in lane number 5 for Century, that is Vereni Reichard. With a close battle with Lakeville South's Haley Gross in lane number 6. And hanging in there in lane number 2, that is Beatrice Tribaco for Mayo. At the halfway point of this first leg. So that is Vereni Reichard with the lead, opening up about a body length lead on the competitors. .50 to go in this opening league. Opening length of the 3x200 freestyle relay. Next in the pool, 4 Century and 5, that is Elena Kelsring. And in 6, that is Maddie Parent. Up in lane number 2, Raya Abadiah. And 4 for North, Elena Walker. And in 7, that is Adri Salander for Lakeville North. Maddie's making a good run for it, catching up to Elena for Century. Maddie, just a 7th grader this year, chasing down the junior from Century. Maddie's just about taking the lead. Looks like she's going to take it at the turn. Maddie's open up about a body length lead. She's going to be handing off next to Millie Shelgren. Sorry about the audio difficulties. Something got bumped on our system up here. But we're back with the medley relay. So this is the 3x100 yard medley relay. Each swimmer will swim their own 100 IM. So for Lakeville North, in lane number 1, we've got Gomez, Lampett, and McCuster. Lane 2 for North, Bristow, Ruff, Broback. 3 for Northfield, Rohenthaler, Feldhawk, Bowers. In 4 for Mayo, Chen, Herman, and Blinkow. In 5 for Century, Lou, Thomas, Braun. And 6 for South, Heaney, Weltier, Trin. And 7 for South, Crone, Trin, and Johnson. In the pool right now, in lane number 6, that is Carly Twin for Lakeville South with the lead. Coming on strong for Century, that's Amelia Braun. In lane number 2 for North, that is Olivia Broback. And 4 for Mayo, so Zofia Blinkow. Tight battle between lanes 5 and 6. With Amelia and Carly. Neil making a good charge on the breaststroke. It's going to be pretty much even at the turn. Ooh, a little bit of a glide out of Carly. A good turn, though. Coming to the end, it looks like it's going to be Amelia Brown for Century, though, with the touch. Hannity Centuries. Amelia Braun with the touch on the anchor leg. I still have audio going up and down. Yeah. Next up is event number 10, the girls 3x100 yard medley relay varsity. And lane number 2 for Century, Barone, Hubert, and Magnuson. In 3 for Mayo, Benke, Weingarten, and Bell. 4 for North, Loftus, Warren, Satterley. And 5 for Northfield, Hauk, Cordum. And lane number 6 for South, Clement, Gross, and Hines. Off to a great start in lane number 6. That is Anna Clement for Lakeville South. Looks like South's going with trying to get a lead for the rest of the swimmers' approach. But it's pretty even between Anna, Josie, and Leah, though. Between South, Northfield, and North. Leah Loftus, a great breaststroker for Lakeville North, has opened up a slight lead on the trio. Next in the pool for lane 4 for Lakeville North will be Peyton Warrens for Northfield, and 5, Greta Cordum, and 6, Kayla Gross for South. In lane 2 for Century, Maggie Hubert. And 3 for Mayo, Elise Weingarten. Strong swim from Peyton Warrens has opened up about a body length, maybe 2 body lengths lead on the rest of the pack. Meanwhile, down in lane number 6, that is Kaylee Gross trying to hold off Greta Cornum from Northfield. Greta's coming on strong in this breaststroke leg. And is Greta with a slight lead. Coming off the turn. Next up in lane number 4 for Lakeville North will be Izzy Satterley. And lane number 5 for Northfield, Nora Cordum. And in lane number 6 for South, Taylor Hines. In lane 3 for Mayo, Carissa Bell. And in lane 2, Paige Magnuson for Century. Lakeville North with a very comfortable lead. Coming into the final 50 of this relay. Followed by Northfield and South. Taylor's trying to keep up with Nora. Lane 6 and 5. But also coming out strong in lane number 3 for Mayo. That is Carissa Bell. But it is going to be Lakeville North with the victory. Next up is event number 11, the girls' 200-yard freestyle relay, junior varsity. This is a traditional 200-yard freestyle relay. And lane number 1 for North, Anderson, Carlson, Croak, and Svendlund. And 2 for Mayo, Trebacco, Kep, Seelig, and Carlson. And 3 for Northfield, Lloyd, Rebecca, Philhawk, and Blandon. And 4 for Century, Kelsrig, Dale, Vesterby, and Home. And 5 for South, Gwen, King, Eastling, and Fan. And 6 for North, Dahl, Anderson, Maharan, and Mickelson. In lane 7 for South, Shelgren, Page, McGill, Schoenthaler. In lane 8, Doxator, Paquette, Springer, and Owens. Lane 5, Lakeville South, Julia King with a slight lead over Century's Katie Dow on the second leg of this relay. Next for South of lane 5, that'll be Sidney Easting. For Century, that'll be Chloe Vesterby. Great start from Chloe. Opening up a pretty good lead on the rest of the pack. Pretty even between Northfield, South, and North going into the last leg. Next up for Century, that'll be Natalie Homey. Northfield in 3, that'll be Riley Blandon. For South, Casey Fan. And for North, Sophia Mickelson. But it's going to be Century with the comfortable victory in the junior varsity 200 freestyle relay. Next up will be event number 12, the varsity 200 freestyle relay. Swimming 2 for Mayo will be Lee, Bell, Salmon, and Yao. 3 for Northfield, Porter, Flory, Holden, and Hegland. And 4 for North, Marsalek, Piscicati, Szorzik, and Holtgren. In 5 for Century, Garrison, Mananto, Magnuson, and Patton. In 6 for South, Parent, Bean, Gross, and Fluttermesh. And they're off. Great start from Emily Garrison for Century in lane number 5, opening up a large lead on the rest of the pack. Emily's going to be heading off to Cameron Manetto. The rest of the number 2 swimmers will be Carissa Bell in lane 2. Charlotte Florian for Northfield in lane 3. Gintera Piscicati in lane 4 for North. And in 6, Bree Vane for Lakeville South. Next up for Century, that'll be Chloe Magnuson in lane number 5. The rest of the swimmers, Sarah Salmon for Mayo in 2. In 3, Hollis Holden for Northfield. Lakeville North, Whitney Szorczyk in 4. And Lakeville South's Haley Gross in 6. Coming in the last swimmer for Century, that is Paige Patton, lane number 5. Coming on strong in lane number 4, that is Peyton Haltgren for North. The rest of the field, Julian Yao in 2, Maria Hagelin in 3, and Kamala Filamenesh in 6. Century with a nice 1:43.46 to take the 200 freestyle relay varsity. The next event will be event number 13, the girls 3x100 butterfly relay, junior varsity. This is the normal diving break time frame, so the girls are going to get a chance to do a little bit of a warm-up, cool-down. So it'll be about a 10-minute break before the next event. In the meantime, we'll switch over to show some diving for your viewing pleasure. We're getting close to starting back on the swim competition. The girls have stepped up to the blocks. We hope you enjoyed the diving. Eventually we will have audio set up for the PA announcer for diving that can be able to read out the scores, read out the dives for you. Once again, next up will be event number 13, the girls 3 by 100 yard butterfly relay, junior varsity. And this heat will be lane 2 will be Northfield, lane 3 Mayo, lane 4 North, lane 5 North, lane 6 Century, and lane 7 South. In the pool for Northfield would be Ella Helgeland. For Mayo, Rhea Abadiah. In 4 for North, Olivia Broback. In 5 for North, Kristen Dunbar. 6 for Century, Addison Cram. And lane 7 for South, Kylie Heaney. Once again, this is the 3 by 100 yard butterfly relay, so each swimmer will swim 4 lengths of the pool butterfly. Lane 6 with the early lead. That is Addison Cram for Century. Next up for Century in lane number 6, that'll be Sabrina Liu. The rest of the swimmers will be lane 2, Addie Lloyd for Northfield, Taylor Peterson for Mayo in 3, Brenna Kozabud for North in 4, Emma Ruff for North in 5, Lillian Lansbach for South in 7. Century with a pretty comfortable lead. We've got a pretty good battle in the middle of the pool between the two North teams. Girls are pretty much stroke for stroke. Got to work on their synchronized swimming a little bit if they're going to score high with the judges, though, on this butterfly. But they're almost stroke to stroke. Down lane number 2, that is Northfield's Addie Lloyd, taking over the second place spot. Next up for Century in lane number 6, Erica Thomas. Or Akra Thomas. In lane number 2, that'll be Quinn Edwards for Northfield. In lane 3 for Mayo, Shannon Shen. In 4 for North, Elena Walker. 5 for North, Ellen McFarland. And in 7 for South, Sophia Cowley. Good battle between lanes 3 and 4 for that third place. Shaping up between North's Elena Walker and Mayo's Shannon Shen. Looks like Elena Walker is going to pull ahead, coming down to the wall. Next up is event number 14, the girls 3 by 100 yard butterfly relay, Varsity. And 2 will be Northfield, Cordham, Edney, and Holden. 3 for Century, Patton, Magnuson, Garrison. 4 for Mayo, Benke, Herman, and Gow. 5 for North, Hultgren, Van Dyne, Hultgren. And in 6 for South, Hines, Gross, and Clement.
Out to a quick start in lane number 3. That is Paige Patton. And lane 5, that is Peyton Hultgren. Both girls out to a quick start on this butterfly relay. Peyton with a nice 27.99 first 50 split. Next in the water, lane number 5 for North. That'll be Alexa Van Dyne. And 3 for Century. That is Chloe Magnuson. Lane 6 for South. That is Kayla Gross. In 4 for Mayo, Celine Herman. And rounding out in lane number 2, that is Leah Edney for Northfield. Still a tight race between the team from Century and the team from North. Next in the water for North would be McKenna Hultgren. And for Century, Emily Garrison. Should be a good race between these two girls. Next in the water for Lakeville South is Anna Clement. In lane number 2 for Northfield will be Leah Edney. And in 4 for Mayo, or Hollis Holden for Northfield. And Madeline Gow for Mayo in lane 4. But still a race between lane 3 and 5. Pretty much even coming into the final 50. Century's Emily Garrison with a great turn at the wall. They are dead even coming into the last length. Emily with the great underwaters has pulled ahead slightly. McKenna's not letting her go easy, though. Who's got it at the touch? It's going to be lane 5, North. 303.93, just touching out. Century with the 304.06. In third place, that is South. Great race between Century and North on that butterfly relay. Next up, the longest event of the night, the girls' 850-yard freestyle crescendo relay, junior varsity. This can be an interesting one to keep track of. Each swimmer will swim a different length of leg. Lane number 2, South, is Butler, McGill, Gwynn, and Shelgren. In 3 for Northfield, Krupka, Morel, Bowers, and Mauser. 4 for North, Szorczyk, Anderson, Mickelson, and Salander. In 5 for Century, Hubert, Dow, Kredick, and Brockman. In 6 for North, Maharan, Cesarek, Carlson, and McCuster. In 7 for Mayo, Hogan, Trebecco, Kep, and Carlson. For this crescendo relay, you'll see first girl will swim a 50, the second girl will swim a 100, third girl will swim a 200, and the anchor will swim a 500. For a total distance of 850 yards. In the center of the pool, that is Theresa Anderson for North, battling it out with Century's Katie Dow in the 100-yard leg of this relay. Next up, the girls will swim the 200, so that'll be 8 lengths to the pool. In lane number 4, that'll be Sophia Mickelson for North. And in lane number 5, Kenzie Craddock for Century. In lane number 3 for Northfield, May Bowers. In lane 6 for North, Caitlin Carlson. In lane number 2, Anessa Gwynn. And in lane number 7 for Mayo, Lucy Knepp. Got a good battle again in the middle of the pool between Century and North. Once again, the final swimmer will swim a 500, so the counters will come out for that event, for that leg of the relay. But this third leg has a 50 to go. Next in the water for Century will be Bree Brockman. She'll be doing the longest leg of the relay, the 500. And next up for North will be Adri Salander. In lane number 2 for South will be Amelia Shelgren. 3 for Northfield, Natalie Moser. In 6 for North, Sydney McCuster. And in 7 for Mayo, Haley Carlson. at the 150 mark. Lane number 5, again, that is Bree Brockman for Century with about a pool length lead on lane number 4. Audrey Salander for Lakeville North. During this 500 portion, we may switch over to show you some of the diving that's going on. One of the advantages in the new pool with the separate diving wells, the diving competition can be going on concurrently with the swimming. And still have a couple lanes for girls to be able to do a quick warm-up or cool down after their race. Meanwhile, in lane number 5 with 8 lengths to go, it's still the team from Century. Coming up on the bell lap for Century. 50 to go. For Century, coming into the wall, that is Bree Brockman with a great 500 split for her team, finishing up first. Finishing up strong in lane number 4 for North, that is Audrey Salander with 1 length to go. And North takes second place in this JV crescendo relay. 1 lane to go. In lane number 3, that's Lakeville South. That is Madeline Mosier for Northfield. And lane number 7, that is Haley Carlson for Mayo. And finishing up strong, lane number 2 for South, that is Amelia Shelgren. And for North, in lane number 6, Sydney McCuster. Next up is event number 16, the girls 850 freestyle relay for Varsity. Swimming lane number 2 for Northfield would be Blandon, Holden, Smith, and Leibel. And lane 3 for South, Wilkinson, Jorgensen, Wiltier, and White. In 4 for Mayo, Peterson, Benke, Gow, and Bjorlund. In 5 for Century, Barone, Manento, Blixt, and Homey. In lane 6 for North, Pizzicati, Bristow, Miranda Lyman, and Wilson. Once again, the swimmers will swim 50, 100, 200, and a 500. With the early lead, that is Quintero Piscicati for North in 6. And 3, Lily Wilkinson for South. Next in the water, lane 2, Holden for Northfield. 3 for South, Kelly Jorgensen. 4 for Mayo, Julia Benke. 5 for Century, Cameron Manento. And 6 for North, Avery Ristow. Pretty even across the pool for this second leg. Second swimmer for both teams. Next in the water for the 200 for Northfield will be Sonia Smith. Lane 3 for South will be Megan Wiltshire. Lane 4 for Mayo, Madeline Gow. Lane 5 for Century, Sophia Blixt. And lane 6 for North, Ashley the Miranda Lyman. Seeing a good battle between Mayo and Century in the middle of the pool. With lane 5, Sophia Blixt opening up a slight lead on her crosstown rival, Madeline Gow from Mayo. Field is starting to spread out a little bit. Lane 5 again, that is Century. Lane 4, Mayo. Lane 6, the team from North. Lane 3, the team from South. Lane 2, Northfield. And entering the pool for the 500 in lane number 5. That is Sarah Homey. And lane 4 for Mayo, Natalie Borland. And 6 for North, Vanda Wilson. And 3 for South, Ava White. And next in the water for Northfield is Claire Leibel. Once again, this final leg of the relay is a 500, 20 lengths of the pool. The two Rochester teams are keeping it still pretty tight in the middle of the pool, with Mayo opening up a slight lead. $200 down, $300 to go. With 100 yards to go, that is lane 4's Natalie Bjorlund for Mayo. And in lane number 5, that is Century's Sarah Homey. And the bell lap. 50 yards to go. And with that, Mayo takes the victory in the crescendo relay. Followed by their crosstown rivals, Century. Next event is the girls 3x100-yard backstroke relay, junior varsity. In lane number 1 will be Mayo, Hogan, Seelig, and Shen, and 2 Northfield, Blandon, Heglin, and Rothler. 3 for Century, Harms, Lou, Reichard, and 4 for North, Ruff, Walker, Gomez. 5 for South, Crone, Bean, and King. And 6 for South, Heaney, Trin, and Page. And 7 for North, Dahl, Anderson, McFarland. That is Century's Bridget Harms with the early lead in this backstroke relay. Followed close by Lakeville North's Emma Ruff in lane number 4. The rest of the first swimmers are Naomi Hogan for Mayo in 1, Northfield's Riley Blandon in 2, in 5, Kaylee Crone for South, lane 6 for South, Kylie Heaney, and lane 7 for North, Yasmin Dahl. In the water next for lane number 3, Century. That'll be Sabrina Liu. Girls have to dive in and quickly rotate over onto their backs. Kind of an unconventional start for backstroke. So next in the pool, lane number 1 for Mayo is Emma Seelig. Lane 2 for Northfield, Ella Heglin. 3 for Century, Sabrina Liu. 4 for North, Elena Walker. 5 for South, Bree Bean. 6 for South, Carly Trin. And 7 for North, Justine Anderson. Lane 3 Century still maintaining a comfortable lead over lane 4 North. Swimming the anchor leg in lane number 3 for Century will be Vereni Reichard. And lane 4 for North, Sofia Gomez. The rest of the field in lane number 1 for Mayo will be Shannon Chen. 2 for Northfield, Molly Rother. 5 for South, Julia King. 6 for South, Kylie Page. And 7 for North, Ellen McFarlane. Still a good race between lanes 3 and 4 with Century and North. Tight battle between Northfield, South, and North for that third place spot. Looks like Century in lane number 3 is going to have a comfortable victory in this JV heat. Followed closely by the team from Lakeville North. Next up is event number 18, the girls 3x100-yard backstroke relay varsity. In lane number 2 will be the team from South, Flaudamesh, Johnson, Gwynn. 3 for Northfield, Hauk, Hollerin, Corderum, and 4 for Mayo. Herman, Weingarten, Walls, and 5 for North, Warrens, Van Dyne, Hultgren, and in 6 for Century, Homey, Brown, and Magnuson. Once again, this is 3x100 yards backstroke. Leading the charge in Lakeville North, that is Peyton Warrens in lane number 5. Followed closely by Century's Natalie Homey and Northfield's Josie Hauk. And 4 for Mayo, that is Celine Herman. And for South, Camilla Flaudamesh in lane number 2. But swimming strong for Lakeville North is senior captain Peyton Warrens. She's going to be handing off to Alexa Van Dyne. Followed closely in lane number 3 will be Northfield's Ella Horan. And lane number 6, Century's Amelia Braun. Next up in lane number 4 for Mayo is Elise Weingarten. And lane number 2, Taylor Johnson for South. Alexa Van Dyne looking pretty solid in her leg of this backstroke relay. She'll be handing off to McKenna Hultgren. And next up in 3 for Northfield, that is Nora Cordum. And gaining some ground in lane number 4 with Mayo, that is next up is Avery Walls, and in lane 6 for Century, Chloe Magnuson. And in the water in lane number 2 for South, Vanessa Gwynn. And with a strong final swim from McKenna Hultgren for North, it is going to be Lakeville North taking the backstroke relay tonight. Followed by Northfield in 3. Century in 6. And Mayo in 4. Next up is event number 19, the girls 300 3 by 100-yard breaststroke relay junior varsity. For North in 1 is Lampat, Svekland, and Marhan. In 2 for South, Trin, Cowley, and Fan. 3 for North, Brobeck, Anderson, Pistakati. 4 for Mayo, Kep, Abudaya, Hogan. 5 for Century, Barone, Vesterby, Hubert. 6 for Northfield, McLaughlin, Finhock, Moeller, and 7 for North, Dunbar, Croak, Kozabud. 8 for South, Glenn, Schoenthaler, and Eastling. In lane 5, first to the wall, that is Century's Grace Brown. Followed closely by North's Olivia Broback and Northfield, Summer Moeller. Next in the water for North, in lane number 1 will be McKenna Svekland. 2 for South, Sophia Crawley. 3 for North, Teresa Anderson. 4 for Mayo, Raya Abdudaya. 5 for Century, Chloe Vesterby. 6 for Northfield, Julia Feldhack. 7 for North, Lauren Croak. And 8 for South, Gina Schoenthaler. So a strong performance from Century's team in lane number 5. With Northfield and North kind of hanging out right around the feet. For this final leg for Century, that'll be Maggie Hubert. In lane number 6 for Northfield, Summer Moeller. In 3 for North, Ginter Pesticati. In 7 for North, Brianna Kozabud. In 4 for Mayo, Naomi Hogan. 2 for South, Casey Fan. And in lane number 1 for North, Sunava Marhan. For the anchor legs, lane number 5, that'll be Maggie Hubert. In 3 for North, Ginter Pesticati. In 6 for Northfield, Summer Moeller. In 4 for Mayo, Naomi Hogan. And 7 for North, Brenda Kozabud. Lane 1 for North, Sunava Marhan. 2 for South, Casey Fan. And on lane number 8, Sydney Eastling for Lakeville South. That is Maggie Herbert for Century, cruising in for the victory in the breaststroke relay for JV. Followed by North in 3 and Northfield in 6. Next up will be event number 20, the girls 3x100-yard breaststroke relay varsity. Swimming for South, lane number 2, Taylor Hines. Clement and Jorgensen, lane 3 for Century. Homie, Magnuson, Blixt. 4 for Mayo, Lee, Rauker, Blinkow. 5 for North, Loftus, Szorski, Satterley. And 6 for Northfield, Flory, Edney, and Cordum. First to the wall for lane 4, that is Gabriel Lee for Mayo. Swimming his first legs is Taylor Hines for South. Sarah Homey for Century in 3. Gabriel Lee and Mayo in 4. Leah Loftus for North in 5. And Charlotte Fleury for Northfield in 6. Still leading the charge for Mayo, that is Gabriel Lee. 1 length to go on her leg of this relay. But Lakeville North and Century are still right on her ankles. Next in the water for 2 will be Anna Clement for South. 3, Paige Magnuson for Century. 4, Zia Rauko for Mayo. 5, Whitney Szorski for North. And for Northfield, Leah Edney. Tight battle between lanes 3 and 4 with Century and Mayo. North is hanging in tough as well. A good swim so far from Whitney Szorski for North. Pulling slightly ahead of Mayo's Zia Rauker. Both teams are trying to chase down Century's Magnuson, Paige Magnuson. The anchor legs will be Kelly Jorgensen for South in 2, Sophia Blix for Century in 3, Sophia Blinkow for Mayo in 4, Izzy Satterley for North in 5, and Greta Cordum for Northfield in 6. Izzy Satterley with a good start, making up some ground on lane 3's Century, Sophia Blixt. With each pullout, Izzy's catching up. About a half a body length each time. Izzy's coming on strong. She's making up ground. It's going to be pretty much dead even coming into the final turn. Izzy with almost a slight lead. And it is pretty much neck and neck coming into the final wall. Izzy Satterley with the good charge. Who's going to drive it home? Ooh, Izzy with a little bit of a long finish, but she is able to sneak it out. Just 14 100ths ahead of Century. Next up is event number 21, the girls 400-yard freestyle relay, junior varsity. In 1 for North will be Doxator, Paquette, Springer, and Owens. 2 for South, Crone, Lonsbach, Butler, and Page. 3 for Northfield, Lloyd, Cordham, Rother, and Smith. For North in 4, Miranda Lyman, Bristow, Van Dyne, and Mickelson. 5 for Mayo, Peterson, Blinkow, Weingarten, and Bell. 6 for Century, Kelserig, Brown, Harms, Reichard. And 7 for North, McCuster, Salander, Anderson, and Jezerek. Apologies, that is Sidney McCuster for North in lane number 7. With the early lead, that's Lakeville North's Ashley Miranda Lyman in lane number 4. Followed closely in lane number 6, Elena Kelsrig for Century. 5 for Mayo, Taylor Peterson. 3 for Northfield, Addie Lloyd. And 2 for South, Kaylee Crone. Next in the water for lane 4 is Lakeville North will be Avery Ristow. 4-5, Sophia Blinkow for Mayo. In 6 for Century, Amelia Braun. 3 for Northfield of Olivia Cordham. 2 for South, Lillian Lansbach. And lane number 7 for North, Adri Salander. And lane number 1 for North, Cassandra Paquette. Lane 4 North has opened up a very comfortable lead, but it's still pretty tight for that number 2 spot between lane 6 Century, lane 5 Mayo, and lane 3 Northfield. Into the water for these final lengths will be Lakeville South, will be Kylie Page. Right, this is the third swimmer. So lane 1 will be Ella Springer for North. 2 is Hannah Butler for South. 3 for Northfield is Molly Rother. 4 for North is Alexa Van Dyne. 5 for Mayo is Chloe Weingarten. 6 for Century is Bridget Harms. And 7 for North, Hazel Anderson. Next up for North, Sophia Mickelson in lane number 4. Lane 3, Sonia Smith for Northfield. Sonia Smith for Northfield. 5 is Krista Bell for Mayo. And 6 for Century is Verena Reichard. In 2 for South, that is Kylie Page. In 7 for North, Neva Zezarek. And it's going to be Lakeville North, lane number 4, with the comfortable victory in this JV heat. Followed by lane 5's Mayo. And lane 3, Northfield. Into the water for lane number 1, North team. That is Sarah Owens. And finishing up strong in lane number 1 for North, that is Sarah Owens. And the final event of the afternoon will be the 400-yard freestyle relay varsity. 4th Century in lane number 2 will be Manetto, Craddock, Brockman, and Cram. 3 for Northfield, Flory, Hegland, Porter, and Leibel. 4 for North, Hultgren, Marshall, Wilson, and Satterley. 5 for Mayo, Yao, Walls, Gow, and Bjorlund. 6 for South, Gross, Parent, White, and Wilkinson. Off to a great start for North. That is Peyton Hultgren with the early lead. Again, swimming for Century in lane number 2 is Cameron Manento. 3 for Northfield, Charlotte Flory. 4 for North, Peyton Hultgren. 5 for Mayo, Julian Yao. And for South, Haley Gross in 6. Peyton Hultgren with an impressive 25.83 opening split, setting the pace for this 400 freestyle relay. Next in the water for 2 for Century is Kenzie Craddock. 3 for Northfield is Maria Hegland. 4 for North, Addie Marslick. 5 for Mayo, Avery Walls. 6 for South, Maddie Parent. It was Lakeville North in 4 with a very clear lead in this second leg. Followed closely by Century, lane number 2. A little bit of a battle between Northfield in 3 and Mayo in 5 for that third place spot. Coming on strong in 6 is Lakeville South. Next in the water for North will be Veda Wilson. In 2 for Century, the Bree Brockman. 3 for Northfield, Ella Porter. 5 for Mayo, Madeline Gow. And for 6, Ava White for South. Next in the water for North will be Izzy Satterley in lane number 4. In lane number 2 for Century, coming up next will be Addison Cram. 3 for Northfield, Claire Leibel. In 5 for Mayo, Natalie Bjorland. In 6 for South, Lily Wilkinson. Izzy Satterley with the very comfortable lead. Still charging hard, though. Mayo's in 2, but there's a pretty good battle between Northfield and Century for that 3rd place. With that 3:44.95, that is a new pool record for the 400 freestyle, beating their own record set a week ago. And that concludes the Lakeville Relays for 2022. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. We will have the team awards shortly, team scores. Once again, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us in this broadcast from the Blanchard Aquatic Center on the campus of Century Middle School here in Lakeville, Minnesota. Next up is a home meet on Thursday for Lakeville North. I have to look at the schedule to see who they are against, while Lakeville South will be on the road. Looks like there's going to be a delay for the score, so we're going to go ahead and shut down the broadcast. So join us again on this Lakeville South Swim and Dive YouTube channel. The North meet should be on the Lakeville North YouTube channel, so watch for your listings for that. that will be coming out sometime in next week. With that, we will close out the broadcast.